Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I figured since I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon, I'll do another video relating to Disney somehow. Whether it's the movies, theme parks, or, whatever else. This could be more, I guess, just straight to the point where I've been talking about one of these news article type of stuff where it speaks about how watching, the Princess theme movies kind of help to heal masculinity, which just seems kind of odd to me. It's kind of like, yeah. The name of the article says that, the name of it, studies show that princess culture can heal toxic masculinity over time. Which I find questionable. And, yeah, here it is right here. In case anybody's wondering where I'm reading it from or whatnot. Because I'm always going to show them what I'm talking about. Which it does display a young child reading these books and whatnot, I guess. And this was presented by this professor named Sarah, I believe. Yeah, the name Sarah really reminds me of Dragon Age. If you play that game, you know what character I'm referring to. Anyway, according to this woman, they've been supposedly involved with some process and whatnot with these princess culture that has a positive impact on a child development over time, and again, and whatnot. And but I find this quite questionable because nothing against the Disney princess, of course. This is not my criticism towards the princess movies because, for one, I've talked about these movies quite often myself. But the thing is that you should not be reliant on TV shows, movies, or whatever to help to grow your child. That's the parent's job. To show that little boys should treat women, or in this case little girls, with proper respect. That's your job. That's something you should do as a parent. That's your job. Yeah. It's not the prince. It's not Cinderella's job. It's not Aurora. The one character from Sleeping Beauty, Aurora. It's not her job. It's not Anna's job. It's the parents' job to do that, not these princesses. I mean, you could do like a Sesame Street kind of a thing, be educational, sure, but ultimately, granted, sure, but ultimately, it's up to the parent, I'm not saying that these films can be educational or whatever, don't get me wrong. You could do like no one show a Sesame Street or whatever, with Elmo, you could do something like that, I guess. Yeah, if Disney wants to, of course. But anyway, there's this study. This article refers it to as a study, but if you ask me, saying studies are too much of a loose word here. But according to this article, according to this study that was conducted by Sarah, right? But trying to say that she had the longest study to collecting data, information on the impact of the media on consumption, and new study by this individual, and have found children involved in princess culture later took like a progressive point of view towards women or something, and which I find kind of debatable if you ask me, but okay, and how some toxic men can be. I mean, okay, if there's gonna be some toxic men out there, they're not gonna like the princess movies anyway because they're led by men, of course. As of course, the article does bring up the fact that what Sarah would say that as Dragon Age, development individual, she studies how the Sarah part that this article mentions is that she studies how boys will grow. I'm assuming all kids of all ages, on whatever gender they are. And says that it's the princesses that has a fascinating culture. What? That there are some really deep and beautiful things about femininity and relationships. If they can grasp it in a more proper way, it will be really healing for humankind. Notice she didn't say mankind. Not womankind, but humankind. She didn't specify the gender. Which, admittedly, is a nice touch, I'll say that. But yeah, when it comes to this princess and stuff, I'm like, I don't know about that. Like I said, it's up to the parent to decide this kind of a thing, really. It's how you raise them. I mean, you can always think about, okay, maybe it's the, it's also the, it's also the, you know, the environment, too, of course. The environment as well, when you think about it, obviously. Because, you know, things can get pretty hectic and whatnot. You know, I mean, of course, there's no easy answer to raise a child. I'm not the one to tell anybody how to raise a child or whatnot, because that's not my child, for one. So don't be thinking that, oh, I shouldn't be telling the parents how to do this or not. That's not what I'm trying to get out here. You know, you gotta use common sense, folks. But anyway, this is the kind of thing that's been done, rightly published, the study, since 2006. She, as in Sarah, had, pretty much found that Prince Codes have been expanding, this kind of stuff and whatnot. And it could have a positive impact on a child. But, really, I mean, I'm not saying, again, you have to let the, you know, you have to raise a child, not these movies. But nothing against the movies, okay? Just putting that out. But yeah, so just point being, I find this article thing quite questionable, if you ask me, folks. So yeah, this is something I feel like, you know, I disagree with the thing. I mean, okay, she's not saying nothing negative about these princess characters, the books, the movies, the TV shows, the music. It's not that the article this woman that the article was mentioning, it's not that they were saying anything negative about it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to slander that. If I'm gonna put a positive spin on these princess characters, I'm all for it. That's fine. But I still find the article quite questionable, that's what I'm saying, because, I mean, yes, kids are pretty much like sponges when you think about it. They're like black sheets of, like, oh boy, you know when a painter paints on a canvas, the canvas itself is blank? That's how a lot of kids are when you think about it. It's that you don't, they're like molds. They kids like clay. It's up to you, the parent, to raise a child. I mean, of course, it's not an easy answer to all of it. You still face problems nonetheless, obviously. But I'm just saying. This study apparently had a survey, the first survey of more than 300 children, and of course, and their parents on through preschool year. And 5 years later, there was a discovery of a higher involved amount in the princess culture during the preschool years that led to more progressive attitude towards women in general, I guess you would say, as if to admire them. What? That's a good thing. Okay, this study is trying to show that the princess movies are having a positive impact on kids. Yeah, that's great. Don't get me wrong. That's wonderful. But what about the teenagers, the male teenagers, you know, from the age of between 13 and 19? I guess and then to be more specific, the young adults, males between the ages of 16 and 19, the young adults. What about that? What about the male demographic from 20 and upward? So I think it's a bit stereotypical that these princess movies will only be viewed by little boys. I mean, I watch princess movies. I'll admit that. And I'm over 100 years old. I know, I look younger, I know. So yeah, what about people in their 70s? What about people in their 60s? What about people in their 80s and whatnot? Well, what about positivity towards those kind of groups, I guess? I don't know. Just, or just what about positive men in general, I guess? What about their impact? You really like those characters like Aladdin, Kristoff, you know, they're male. What about their impact on these, you know, these said kids groups? How about the male characters in princess movies that have a positive impact on the little girls. What's that study? So funny how this article says that, you know, something about stereotypes, but always stereotyping in some ways, I guess you can say. But it also brings up the fact that, you know, it tells both boys and girls that they can be different of all kinds. Okay, yes. But, so yeah. So they don't have to be considered to be the only one and be powerful too as well, I guess you would say. But yeah, folks. So I want to bring this up real quick because this is, I guess, I'm going to talk about Disney, the Disney stuff and one of the princesses, of course, which I find kind of their, the study's a bit questionable if you ask me, but okay. The princess culture has been, according to culture, and again with that one woman named Sarah, Dragon Age. But anyway, you know, can express your emotions in a non-violent way using diplomacy. Which reminds me of the character from Belle, but from the Beauty and the Beast films, and whatnot. And you know, you speak about how you feel and how you would face the challenges of life and whatnot. The princess culture also associated with developing a positive body image over time, which was stated in here, folks, with the one woman. And this was a bit surprising to some people, I guess you can say, because there was some criticism. Which I brought up before in my other videos, that the Disney princesses had supposedly a negative body type images to little girls, which they never did. Like I said, I brought up before in my other videos, but so I don't want to touch up too much really. But yeah, this is something could be a good force as the article states that Disney princesses to model you know, some kind of attitude towards men and women, and of course the influence of their children to avoid the toxic masculinity. But I feel kind of odd that the article never addresses toxic femininity. Yes, that's a thing. Toxic femininity can be a thing. What about that kind of attitude that, oh, you're going through a negative experience? Get over it. Oh, you went through some sort of trauma as a child? Get over it. What about that kind of attitude? That seems to be really, you know, condescending, don't you think? With people who act like that. The article does not address this kind of thing like whatsoever. If it'll give this article any kind of criticism, I guess you can say. So I find that kind of weird, but okay. So yeah, so that kind of reminds me of the one recent Disney princess movie called Raya and the Last Dragon. Which kind of contradicts what the what this article is trying to say, because the Last Dragon princess movie, I didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I have my issues with it. Because one of the characters, not the princess character, but the Last Dragon, was far too trusting, and it's all too forgiving, if you ask me. Because when you want to respect somebody, when you want to actually help somebody, respect is not given automatically. It's earned when you think about it. But you know, I talk about that movie all the time. I feel like it, but I don't want to dwell too much on that. But anyway, because of the fact that those like many problems I had with the film, The Last Dragon. It was not a good movie. I mean, it's not the worst, but still. Alright, let me just wrap things up because I was here for a hot minute. But yeah, gotta focus on the forces of humanity beyond themselves or whatever and whatnot. And the article does bring up Moana, of course, because she's one of the more recent princesses, of course. How she would deal with things, of course. I mean, the story itself, the article says that the story itself is not about what she looks like. Well, no kidding, it's not about what she looks like. Okay. Not these, believe it or not, none of these movies are ever about what they look like. Yes, that's an odd thing to say, considering the fact that they were real princesses, they were real, these dresses, well, makeup and what, and, you know, glamored up. That's fine. Looking glamored up, or, you know, nice like, that in itself isn't a bad thing. I know some people took issue to that, because a lot of people felt that the Disney princess movie is trying to do a negative impact on little girls. Which I find kind of odd, because they never say anything about the boys. Like, look at Hercules, Ooh, Hawkins is really in shape. Oh, look at that character Hans from the Frozen movie. He's also in shape, but no one says anything about the negative stereotype of how men should look like. No one brings that up. Not that I'm trying to suggest that that's what Frozen or Hercules is trying to do. I'm not saying that. I'm just putting that out. It's a double standard. Is what I'm saying. It's a double standard. A lot of people are wondering about how the women will look in these movies, but never the men, really. That seems odd. But yeah, folks, I guess that'll be it for now, I suppose. So, because this article just seems kind of questionable. I mean, it wasn't really saying nothing negative, really, about these princess movies. I'm just saying. Even then, even if it was in a positive way, I still find it quite questionable. Well, anyway, of course, as always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah, later.